We're going to start on ITVX with a new true crime drama. It's called Under the Banner of Heaven. And here's a clip.
This stays between us. This case I'm working on, it's a double murder. So far, what we've found isn't pointing outward. The evidence points to things and to beliefs that I have only ever heard whisperings about.
So in Salt Lake City, Utah in 1984, 24-year-old Brenda Wright Lafferty and her infant daughter, Erica, were brutally murdered at a crime that sent shockwaves through the Mormon community. And this is based on a book about that crime by John Krakauer, a non-fiction book. It's now been dramatised. It's a 7-parter. It was shown on Disney Plus a couple of years ago, Hannah, but I don't recall us previewing it then. It stars the fantastic Andrew Garfield. I think of him as America's Matt Smith. Of course, he was Spider-Man quite a long time ago. He's got very good hair, and he is a safe pair of hands as far as I'm concerned. He plays Jeb Pyre, who is a God-fearing father of 2 and also a detective. He's a devout Mormon, and he is assigned to the case. So it's interesting because TV doesn't normally shy away from gore, but when he goes to the crime scene at the beginning of episode 1, they deliberately don't really show. You can tell he's hugely affected by what he's seeing, but they're not really showing you the crime scene in full, which is a refreshing change. So we're going to have, of course we are, different timelines. So in the present, Pyre and his detective colleague quizzing the husband, because in these cases it's usually the husband or partner, isn't it? But we're also going to learn the story of his marriage in flashback, and Brenda is played by Daisy Edgar-Jones from Normal People, who's been getting quite a lot of press lately. Not only that, but we're going to go back even further to depict the early days of Mormonism under Joseph Smith. So there's lots of reference to LDS is mentioned a lot. That's Latter-day Saints. I do think for a British audience that doesn't really know very much about Mormonism, I mean, all I know about it is based on the hilariously rude West End musical Book of Mormon. If you haven't seen it, go. It's superb. Whereas I think Americans are much more well-versed in it, of course, because Salt Lake City is the home of the Mormons, isn't it? Perhaps some of the language and the theological references might go over our heads. Garfield's character is kind of wrestling with, on the one hand, his job as a detective. He's also a family man, but then he's also got his religious beliefs. He's very believable in the lead role. I'm not sure all 3 of the timelines work particularly well, especially the one that goes furthest back. But yeah, it's an interesting mystery. I mean, don't Google the answer if you don't already know the case. Just let it play out in the drama, because it is a fascinating crime and a fascinating story. Trigger warning for dog lovers like ourselves. There is a little bit of cruelty to dogs in episode 2, so watch out for that. But yeah, I thought it was a decent true crime drama. Enjoyed episode 1. What did you think, Hannah?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it is good, and I think that a lot of stuff will go over people's heads because, as you say, we're kind of not as sort of au fait with kind of Mormonism in the same way as, you know, the US is, I guess. But it is a bit grim. I know you say they stop short of showing the bodies, which is, yeah, they do, but there's a lot of blood, isn't there? And it is quite and you say that the cruelty to animals, I struggle watching stuff like that. So for me, you know, I think, we use this word trigger quite a lot, but I think it is quite triggering and it is quite hard to watch in places, albeit interesting. I hadn't actually read the book, and I wonder whether I'd actually prefer the book in that, you know, that sort of lack of visual horror. I don't know that it would make it better, but somehow more palatable. So I might try the book.